Do children learn through structured input? Yet another suggestion is that the children are able to learn language because adults speak to them in a special simplified language, sometimes called motherese, or child-directed speech, or more informally, baby talk. And this hypothesis places a lot of emphasis on the role of the environment in facilitating language acquisition.
And good day, ma'am. So before anything else, I will going to introduce myself. So my name is Clarence FELOMINO from Edu2B. So I will going to discuss is the continuation of our report, which is entitled as "Do Children Learn Through Structured Input?" So here we're going to tackle about how the young children acquired the knowledge to a language through different sentences. So here in my report, it is stated that in our culture, adults do typically talk to young children in a special way. So from what we observe or from what we know in the reality, uh, we usually do this, especially when you are a parent or you are an adult and you have your young sister or brother in your home. Uh, you observe that from your experience, you talk to young children or to your brother and sister in your home in a special manner. You are creative in the way you're speaking to them, the way you talk to them, and also you are your voice is loud and clear. But sometimes you use higher pitch if it is needed, and also here or from what you observe from your experience, uh, you are not only creative when you are talking to them, but also you are creative when you are you are creative when you are constructing a sentences that you are going to tell them. So here, the third, this motherese is not syntactically simpler. It contains a range of sentence type. So, like what I said, when we say motherese, it is a baby talk. So it is a way on how you are talking to a young children or to a baby or to a child that has uh, 1 to 3 years old. So here say it that you are not saying to them syntactically simpler. So you are not talking to them uh, like a normal people that has an age like you. So here we're going to tackle some examples that can prove how creative you are in speaking or in talking to a young children. So here, so our first example is complex sentence such a question. So when we say complex sentence, it is the sentences that is formed by two clauses. And what is these two clauses? These two clauses is the dependent clauses and the independent clauses. So what is the dependent clauses? When we say dependent clauses, it is the sentences or the clauses that is can stand alone. Or when you hear this sentence, you probably understand what I'm talking about or what is the person talking about. And when we say independent clause or independent sentence, it is the sentences that is incomplete thought. When you hear this sentence, it's probably sounds strange because maybe the subject or the verb or the direct object is missing. Maybe the indirect clauses, no, the independent clauses is uh, maybe one word or it is in incomplete uh, thoughts. So here, the example is, do you want your juice now? So in this sentence, you will see that this is combined with two clauses, which is the dependent clauses and independent clauses. So, do you want your juice is a dependent clauses because when you hear those question, you probably understand what is the person talking about or what is the person asking about. And now is a independent clauses, because if I'm going to ask you now, you probably think what I'm talking about, what is the meaning or what I mean for that. So that is complex sentence such as a question. So let's forward to the second examples, uh, which is embedded sentences. So when we say embedded sentences, it is a sentences which is using indirect subject or maybe indirect object in a sentence. So for example here, mommy thinks you should sleep now. So instead of saying that I think you should sleep now, the sentence you use the word mommy to replace I. So in this sentence, uh, show that mommy is indirect. It is not saying that, for example, I am the mommy and I'm saying to my child or to my baby that I think you should sleep now. And then I say, mommy thinks you should sleep now. So instead of saying I, I use the word mommy. So that is embedded sentences. So let's forward to the third one, which is the imperative sentences. So when we say imperative sentences, it is the sentences that giving an order or giving a request, or it is sentences that giving direction what to do. So probably it is usually that we use when we are talking to a child or young children. So for example here, pat the dog gently. So uh, this is giving an order or giving an advice to a young children or a child to pat the dog gently. So it is giving an order or giving a direction how the baby pat the dog. So it's gentle. So pat the dog. So it's gentle. So that. So our last example, which is negative tag with question. No, negative with tag question. That. So here, this is the sentences that which is uh, having the positive sentence and the tag question can be negative. So if the question or if the sentence is a positive, so the question or the tag question must be opposite, so it can be negative. So here the example is, we don't want to hurt him. So this sentence is a positive because we don't want to hurt a dog, like that. So this sentence is the continuation of the sentence of imperative sentence. So here in our examples and negatives with tag question, so like what I said, we don't want to hurt him, it is a positive because we don't want to hurt a dog. And do we is a negative. Why? Because if you are talking to a child and you ask, do we, it is a possible that the child can agree or say yes, that we are, that it's okay to hurt a dog. So, or so in this sentence, you can actually change this one to negative into positive one. So you can say, or you can rephrase the sentence into we want to hurt him. So the word is really negative because you are willing to hurt the dog. And the third question can be positive. Do no, we aren't, or you are asking that we aren't. So if you're talking to child maybe probably think that it's bad to hurt a dog. So and that is for negative with tag question. So let's forward to the next one. So adults do simpler no, adults do not simplify their language by dropping inflection from verb and nouns or by omitting function words such as determiners and auxiliaries. So, like what I said earlier, that as an adult, when we are talking to a child, we are not simpler the sentences that we produce. We are really creative in forming a sentence. we have modifiers in our subjects, and sometimes we create our sentences uh, long, longer, and that sentences is forming many part of speech. And the next one is, so uh, if the adults typically talk to a children like a normal uh, people that has aged that the same as they are, so the probably the child might not have sufficient information to extract the rules of their language. So it is really big help for the children or to young children to acquire knowledge to a language from different sentences if you use a creative way in constructing a sentence. So that's all on my part. So let me call on Kay and Domingo for the continuation of our report. Thank you.
It says here that although infants prefer to listen to motherese over normal adult speech, studies show that using motherese does not significantly affect the child's language development. Based on the study, there are other places or countries in the world that do not use motherese. Since every place has its own culture, there are still adults who doesn't use a special language style just to communicate with children, and there are also communities where adults barely talk to babies. However, children all over the world get language in the same way, regardless of their different status and circumstances. So why does the adults seem to be the followers rather than the leaders in this enterprise? It is because the child does not develop linguistic because he or she is exposed or raised in a much larger adult language. Instead, the adult adjusts his or her language to increase the child's sophistication in linguistics. The title of our topic is, Do Children Learn Through Structured Input? In the study of linguists, the exaggerated intonation and other properties of motherese may be useful for getting a child's attention and for assuring the child, but it is not driving force behind language development. It just means that speaking in a special way is useful, but it is still not the reason why children learn languages.
Analogy, imitation, and reinforcement cannot account for language. Because as we can see, the child is learning about to speak based on his surroundings. And as a children, they are learning about on their environments or what did they learn in their grow-up stage. Not through grammatical rules that teach us how to form words or sentences that are correct and accepted, but very able to adapt language in children is through their environment or surroundings. Do not give unnecessary statements. Give them a sure and correct statement. Because what they hear is what they learn about language. The children must have their own creativity. Because they learn in her own self, because they are trial and errors. That's why we need to teach children in good way, because that is what imprints on their mind. Thank you.